Please help me welcome to the DebX stage, Marilyn Getas Byrne.
The most powerful human connections often begin with pain. I learned this on a cold metal gurney, trembling after a double mastectomy, and I was in agony. 2 men in uniform showed up to transfer me from the surgery center to the hospital. They wheeled me down the hall, out the door, and up the ramp to their vehicle. Initially, I looked at these 2 guys as angels getting me to where I needed to go, but that all changed when the gurney got hung up on the metal lip between the ramp and the back of the ambulance. They were shoving and pushing, trying to load me in. Every jolt causing excruciating pain. I was doing everything I could to hold it together, but I started to cry, and they didn't seem to notice or care. They were too busy talking about a missing time card and complaining about one of their coworkers they didn't like, named Steve. And I just needed to be seen in that moment. Even though one of the transporters was sitting right next to me, I felt totally alone, totally insignificant, like cargo, like a slab of meat on the way to market. I wanted to scream out, "Don't you know what's happened to me? I have cancer. I don't want to orphan my kids." I was angry. I wanted someone to care about me in that moment. I needed empathy, understanding. But I didn't want to have to be the one to reach out. And I knew these 2 guys weren't going to make a move. So I made a conscious choice. I decided to break the silence and reach out for a conversation. And actually, even more than that, open the door to a conversation. I reached out to the man on my left, the older man who had been behind the wheel of the transport. I asked him if he had any children. He looked taken aback, but he answered anyway. He said he had 2 daughters. One was a nurse, the other a 2nd grade teacher. I looked him right in the eyes and said, "You must be so proud." The muscles in his face began to soften. There was a gentleness in his voice as he answered me. He said, "I am beyond proud of them. They're wonderful daughters." I was trying to hold back my tears, and I just blurted out, "I'm somebody's daughter. My parents are worried sick about me. I'm only 40. My kids are 8 and 4. I have cancer. I don't want to die. I'm scared." All of that just poured out of me in a matter of seconds. The next thing I knew, he made eye contact. He was smiling at me, patting the top of my feet, and then wiping away his own tears. It was totally authentic. His compassion, even late in the game, helped dissolve my anxiety and pain. That's connection. Connection is what makes us human. It's the invisible thread that binds us to one another, that whispers, "You're not alone." Speaker and researcher Brene Brown says, connection is what gives us purpose and meaning to our lives. But it requires something of us. It requires vulnerability. And for me, the risk of being totally vulnerable with that man I didn't even know paid off. But sometimes being vulnerable with the people we love the most can be even harder. After the 2nd round of chemo, my hair fell out in the shower, in clumps, and all I could think was, I'm literally clogging the drain with my identity. I stepped out of the shower, looked in the mirror, and I couldn't recognize myself. Where was that beautiful television news anchor? That vibrant mother and wife, where was she? I couldn't see her. And suddenly, I didn't feel like a woman. My husband, Tom, heard me crying, and I heard him running to the door. I panicked. I turned that little knob 90 degrees, locking out the one person in my life I needed the most. He began knocking and begging, "Marilyn, let me in." I was frozen, terrified. I was afraid to show my own husband what had become of me, because I thought if he saw me this way, maybe he couldn't unsee it, or maybe it would change everything between us. I hesitated, but I turned back that knob, opened the door, and dropped to the floor. Tom didn't say a word, but he just met me where I was. He wrapped his arms around me, he held me, and he whispered, "You are so beautiful. All I can see is your strength." He must have said it dozens of times as we rocked together on the bathroom floor. And finally, I started to believe what he was telling me. I whispered back, "Thank you for saying exactly what I needed to hear." And then Tom said, "Oh, sweetheart, thank you for showing me how." That's connection. It was hard and it was beautiful. I could have just told Tom to go away or ignored him completely, but it's in that moment when we're afraid, even terrified, we can turn into the fear, face it straight up, invite it in, summon our courage and a deeper part of ourselves and open that door. What awaited me on the other side was the most profound connection I had ever shared with my husband. And you know what? Tom wanted connection just as much as I did. He knocked, I opened, and he stepped through. Both of us taking the risk gave us everything we wanted. And the quality of that connection has altered my life in ways I'm still discovering. It has led to a deeper friendship with my husband, a stronger bond with my children, an enduring sense of safety in my home. And it has given me the confidence to reach out for connection in just about every area of my life when I need it. And that's why it was so validating to find research that actually reflected back to me my own experience. Harvard did a study for 85 years, finding that the quality of our relationships is the number one predictor of our happiness. Not wealth, not fame. Dr. Robert Waldinger, the director of the study, he said loneliness kills. It's as toxic as alcoholism and smoking. Think about that. And yet, what are we doing to ourselves? We are willfully disconnecting. Cell phones at the dinner table, texting instead of lunch with a friend, emojis instead of hugs. We are isolating ourselves and sometimes missing out on the deep human connection we all desperately need. And that's why it's important to practice. It could be as simple as a smile, a wave, "How are you?" Reach out to a friend. See how they're doing. Listen, hear them, be present. And don't wait until there's an emergency or cancer or the death of a loved one. And let yourself be seen with all your imperfections. And if fear creeps in, wondering if you will be rejected or misunderstood, true connection is worth that risk, because on the other side of fear is understanding and belonging and the kind of love and respect and connection that makes our lives so much richer. If I hadn't spoken up that night on the gurney or unlocked the door to my husband, Tom, I would be retelling stories about pain and missed opportunities. Instead, speaking up for myself and reaching out for connection has changed the narrative and my life story. You may not find yourself on the bathroom floor, but you may have a time in your life that brings you to your knees. What are you going to do? Will you break the silence and ask for what you need? Or unlock the door to the one who comes knocking? It's a choice. It really is. Open that door to connection. It isn't just a longing. It's a lifeline. Can you feel it? Thank you.